Let's see here. Where is the camera? Oh, over here. Let's see. Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. It's June 11th of 2021. I started to pour this Coke into my microphone here. That wouldn't be a good idea, would it? I can't do two things at once. I can barely do one thing at once. So I think I have the audio working on both computers and the video working on both computers, and so I have Windows here and I have Linux over here. I've got my Panasonic G7 camera up here on this. I've got the battery thing, so I took the battery out, put the adapter in, and so it's not depending on the battery up there. But I don't think I'm going to. I've hooked it up there, and I haven't hooked the other device to hook it into my computer or whatever. I don't think I'm going to use it. It just just using the Logitech USB cameras are just fine. And oh, by the way, though, at the end of this video, there's going to be a video of not sure how long it is. I'm going to add, I took the trash out and ran into, I didn't mean run into, but the neighbor's cat came out. It is the most friendly cat, loving cat. But so I made a little bit of a video of it, of the cat. The only problem, it's so loving, it wants to wrap itself around my feet, so I get petted and stuff like that. And with my arthritis, I can't get down to pet it. And a few times I've been able to walk over and have it follow me, and then I can sit on some stairs of the apartment, the apartment building, and then it comes up on the stairs, and then I could pet it, but it didn't this time. Anyway, that video will be at the end of this video. I'm using the Elgato Wavelength 3 camera, or microphone, and the Sound Blaster card is working good for me. It's taking care of the audio AC problem with the B-Link. Amazon, not Amazon, I guess it's too, Apple has had the last week or whatever, they had online things and events, and they're talking about the improvements to their software. And my God, because they have their own chip now that they have manufactured to their specifications, and they control every part of it, then they're also controlling, of course, as they always have, their hardware. And so they have a kick-ass operating system and hardware to go with it. And I really would like to go with Apple, switch over. I've never used Apple, so except for a day or two. You saw me, maybe you saw the video of me trying one and then returning it. I really would like to switch, even though I don't think I'm going to be around long enough to, I'm 80 now, but because of the stuff, that the way it'll do things and just everything about it, but to get into it the way I would really want to do, I don't know how much their monitor cost. I'm guessing probably $1,000. And then I would want their cell phone to go with it, and that's what, $1,200 or whatever. And then I'd want, one of their computers to go with the system. So I don't know, what is that? You're talking about, I don't know, $5,000 plus to get those. But well, there's just so many of their announcements this week about everything. It's just so, there's just so many aspects of it that are just fantastic. Like one thing you can do now, let's say you have your Apple computer, and you have your iPad, and you have your Apple cell phone. If you're working on something, on either, it doesn't matter what you're working on it with. If, let's say you're working on the, your desktop setup, then you have your monitor, and you have your keyboard, and you have your, Apple, and you're working on something, you can just drag that off as long as you have your cell phone and iPad or whatever you have, within Bluetooth or the other within range. As long as it's not out of the range, you can just drag that material off. You just drag it off over onto, and work on it here, and then just drag it back. Just do all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, that's just the simplest little change and improvement they've made. They made a whole bunch of them. Now apparently it's going to be so much easier and I paid somebody a small amount of money to make a Apple app for the Apple Store a few years back. And let me go to Amazon Store. No, not Amazon Store. Want Windows? Oh, I can't even type. Oh. I think I have the link on here, don't I? Well, let's see. What do we call it? Store? No, okay, yeah, Windows Store apps, okay. Go to the store. Okay, software, no. Okay, I don't think this is officially. Let me see if it is by doing a search. I think this is just some of their apps. I don't think this is officially the store. Or is it? Okay, search. Yeah, okay, this isn't there. What I wanted to show you was I have I've had for, at the same time, I have a Windows app that a few people have used. And I had an Apple one, but Apple made some type of a change a few years back or whatever, and the Apple app that I didn't create it. I paid somebody to make it. It was, what's that place with $5, Fiverr, that Fiverr or whatever. Of course, I paid him more than $5, But I had one person made a app for the Windows Store, and one person made an app for the Apple Store. Well, the guy who made the app for the Apple Store, I don't know if he gave up, you know. I mean, he made it, and it worked, and but then he just stopped doing it. I probably got a good job for some company, and so he stopped doing it. And then Apple made some type of a change to their store, and my app no longer worked. I didn't have any of the code or anything now for the a different guy who made the one for the Windows Store. He gave me the code and everything, and I can log into that. Not competent though, and really but where was I? Off on some tangent someplace. Anyway, I would like to go with that I can't afford it. I would like to go with Windows and play around with their new, what is it, the M11 chip or what? Let's see. Let's see. I'm not finding anything. I'm too tired. The arthritis is hurting. My eyes are bothering me. I haven't seen the eye doctor. When you have diabetes, you're supposed to see the eye doctor once a year for sure. I haven't seen the eye doctor in years, but I have an appointment later this month to see the eye doctor, and I need to see the eye doctor. My eyes are bothering me big time. And they found a couple cataracts 3 or 4 years ago when I did see the eye doctor. I didn't like the eye doctor, and he didn't like me. Well, it was he didn't like me. I don't know why. So I didn't like him. And then when I checked out, the lady at the desk, she was rude, I thought. And so I never went back to him. I'm going back to the same group, but I'm going back to a different doctor finally. The only one, by not going back like I should have, I mean, the only one I was hurting was myself. I mean, but anyway, I'm seeing a female eye doctor too. I think that'll be better. She's from India. I don't know anything about her. I saw her, you know, her bio or whatever. It looks pretty impressive. So I'm going to see her later this month. But my eyes have been hurting me, and just, okay, it's just, you know, I was lucky. I kind of took a little bit of pride in it when I would almost never have to see a doctor about anything. And when I did see a doctor, well, like when I was in Miami and I had to have my prostate taken care of. But when I, you know, gave them the information and everything, the nurse or whoever was, you know, you've never had an operation? No. You've never had such a? No. I said, oh, I had my tonsils out when I was a kid. That doesn't count. Well, that's all there was. Now, pages of medical stuff. You know, I've had a pacemaker put in, and then the battery eventually died after 10 years or whatever, and I had to put another one in, and so forth and so on. Um, oh, don't forget, at the end of this video, there's going to be a little cat video. I have an amateur radio license, but it's a technician's license. It's the first one you get. And then if you want to go on further. And back years ago, I bought the general class license manual. And it expired, or they come up with new questions and stuff. I don't know, every 5 years or something like that. Well, that one expired, so I have a new one that I haven't opened up. But also, the way to study for your ham license here in the United States is to go to one of the online sites, and I did that back. Well, I got my tech license without, doing it. But for the general, and I paid a small amount of money, not much money. Let's see, I wonder if ham radio, where are you? Here we go. Here it is. So I use these people, and they don't charge. Well, there it is. Let's see. That's for the technicians. Yep. Well, anyway, so I signed up for the general class thing, and I didn't really. It's sort of like when you sign up for a health club or something, or a place where you can go exercise and you pay a membership or something like that, and then you never go, Sort of like that. I really didn't use it, and expired. Now I need to sign up again. Actually, I think their thing in the beginning was if you don't get your general class license, it's free or something, but I'm not gonna, hey, it's not very much money. Let's see. Enter ham test online. Log in. Okay, my subscription expired on 6/27 of 2019, so I can only use the free thing unless I pay. And to purchase, which I'm gonna, do. These are times I subscribe. I paid and never really used it. I mean, I used it a few times. Okay, for the general class study course, 6-month subscription. You've already purchased this course, let's see, or purchased to regain access. In 6:30. Well, I guess the regular price is $34, but I can get it for $30. I need to come, but I want to study and get the general class license and do it online. But I still want to have the book so I can look some stuff up. Like I said, my arthritis is worse, and all my other problems are worse. I'm going to tell you something that no, I'm not. Yes, I am. I've mentioned quite a few times, and if you've been watching my YouTube videos, I've mentioned in there that you're not going to, from time to time I've said, you're not going to see my legs or my feet. You'll never see my legs or my feet because they're positively gross. But I made that video earlier today of the cat, and it was trying to it was wrapping itself around, so I did turn my cell phone down, and you can see a little bit of my leg and my feet or foot. So that's something you don't want to miss, especially watch it just before you have a meal or something. I can't reach my feet to give them the kind of care they need. My doctor that I saw was going to set me up for a foot doctor and 2 or 3 other doctors. The only one they got me hooked up with was the eye doctor. I'm going to do one at a time. So I'm going to do the eye doctor. See how that goes. You know, why don't I, instead of adding this on, why don't I just run that video? Okay, I'm going to do that. Here's that video that I was going to add on. I won't add it on. I'll just run it right now. So, here comes Bernard's cat. This is a neighbor's cat. It's about the most loving and sweet cat that there is. But it wants to wrap itself around my feet, and I gotta be really careful that I don't fall. Okay, behind me, see, behind me now, trying to. I can barely walk. I don't need to fall on a cat. If I'm going to go down, I don't want to take the cat out too. You are such a sweet cat. I can't bend over to pet you. I'm sorry. If you come over to the stairs, see if I can get around this cat. If you can come over to the stairs, I'll sit down and I'll pet you. Oops. Oh wow, he must have heard something. Must have heard his master opening the door or something. Or he's a psychic cat, or a psychotic cat that knows something. Okay, I'm going to stop this. Well, maybe switch. Where's the switch? The switching. That's not it. Better stop it. I'm going to run something. Okay. Did you hear that thumping, clicking or whatever? That I've noticed the videos that I've made recently, and not many, with my cell phone, that appears. It's got to be something. Is my finger okay? Let's see here. So if I'm going to make a video, I would turn it like this. So I don't see what I could be hitting that would be making that sound. I guess the next video that I make, I'm going to take the case off and see if it's, I mean, this is a nice case, rubberized case. I don't see anything. Press and hold the power button and then tap power off. Turn off flashlights. I didn't do it. Anyway, want to find out what that is, that sound. I don't see how the case could be, you know, if there was some kind of a play in here or something, I mean, some type of, but I don't see anything. Don't know what that is. So I'm taking the naproxen. Oh, and I haven't taken my nighttime meds yet either, but first I'll take the naproxen. I still like this camera angle. And the other, I've got, you know, the other Logitech cameras on the top of that there, so I keep moving stuff around. We ordered in some more, or my ex-wife has, firewood, you know, the firewood that burns, whatever. I don't know how many boxes we've got of it, but she wants to be prepared in case we have another storm, winter storm or something, or the Texas decides to turn off the power to a few million people again. I was surprised, not sure if I can find it now, but let's go to CNN here. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to find it. Probably maybe under politics. If I can't find it, then I've got to try to remember it. Okay, come on here. I can hear the fan a little bit on my Beeline. It's a little bit warm. I don't know why it would be. Let's see. What I'm looking for is in, oh, here it is. Okay, here it is. A while back, when there were threats against, you know, Congress and various states were beefing up security for their state legislature branches and everything. In Oregon, and they had restrictions too, that nobody was to be in there except, nobody from the public. They weren't having tours and all that kind of stuff, and everything was on, lockdown. And this Oregon legislator let the word be out that he objected to that, and so there was video of him. The legislature was meeting in the State House of Oregon, wherever that is. I even forgot we had a state of Oregon. And he was seen on video going and unlocking the door and holding it open and letting protesters in. And I guess the protesters were yelling, kill the whoever would have the House Speaker, or like Pelosi for the United States, and other stuff like that, and they went in. So that there were people calling for him to be disciplined in some way or something or other. And then just recently they came up with, and I'm not sure when the meeting was, but he was having, I guess it'd be some of his supporters, but a large group. And he was up speaking before them, and he told them, you have a right to come in and protest and blah 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 blah. And if you need help getting in, I'll let you in, and you can just call me on my cell phone. And he gave the number of his cell phone. And then then he goes on talking about, you can come in, you can protest and blah blah blah. And then somebody says, what's that number that we can, he says, you just call the number and you get, what's that number? And he gave his number again on his cell phone. He did that several times. When that first thing of him letting the people in, I thought, letting those protesters in, putting the legislative members, I think you just saw the CNN news, somebody shot somebody in front of a convenience store or whatever. But I thought, man, they should kick his ass out of the legislature when that first thing came up. And then when this other thing came up, this video appearing of him telling a group of people, yeah, you can get in, just call this number and I'll come and open the door and let you in. And I thought, oh my God, we got another one of these things. Of course, he's a Republican, Got another things that people can just do whatever they want to do and get away with it. There's no, but the Oregon legislature Republican State Representative Mike Neerman, the Oregon state representative who faced backlash after a video surfaced of him appearing to tell protesters how to get access to the closed state capitol, has been expelled from the Oregon House of Representatives by a vote of 59-1. He was removed. He's no longer a state legislator. He's been removed. So, I guess he might be the one. It was 59-1. I guess he got to vote, no, don't remove me. So I guess we have to take our hats off to Oregon. Somebody finally. It's too bad the United States Congress can't or won't do that. You have several United States Congress Republicans in the House who are taking guns into the chamber, not assault rifles, I guess, but, you know, handguns in violation of the rules. They're taking them in. They're going around security, doing that type of stuff, and then they're making statements to the fact that I carry, you know, like that female, you know, I carry a gun everywhere I go, blah 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 blah, and I'm going, you know, and then all of the other stuff that's happened, and I forgot to switch so you can see. That's the problem with this, is I need to switch. Also, we just keep getting information about the Justice Department under Trump. You know, Trump had his list of people that he hated, news people and that type of stuff, and Trump made it known that and then the Justice Department, which is not supposed to be, you know, it's supposed to be doing justice. It's supposed to be a legal, you know, group, but they're not supposed to. It's not like they're the military, where the commander-in-chief, the President of the United States, if he orders something to happen, then it's supposed to happen because he is, you know. But for the Justice Department, they're supposed to be doing things that are you know, are legal to do. But the Justice Department was investigating people that Trump didn't like, news people, and I guess some other people, and the news people's family and everybody else, you know. And a Chicago police officer has been charged in the Capitol riot. There's already been one case where a person has made a deal. I think they've arrested about 500 people, and one of these people has made a plea agreement, and he's going to get a year. Now, he broke in to the Capitol with the rioters, the insurrection people. He broke in, but he didn't harm any police officers. He didn't go, I don't believe, into several places, you know, like some of the others did. And so he made a deal of 1 year in prison, and they're saying, I mean, experts and people are saying that that's probably gives you an example. If you're of those 500 people that have been arrested and are waiting for their day in court, if you didn't steal somebody, if you didn't steal, you know, go and smash something, if you didn't beat a police officer, you know, with a pipe, if you didn't, if you were just somebody that went in, you know, through a broken door or window or climbed in, that you can probably make a deal and, you know, get sentenced to a year, maybe get out a little before the year's over. But those that did other things, they're looking at more serious time. I would hope that a whole bunch of those people that just went in, but I don't, you know, it depends on, do a background check on those people. Also, if you took a Confederate flag in, and God, don't give me this saying, well, that's not the Confederate, that's the battle flag, and blah, 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 blah. Fuck you, you know. But if you didn't do something really, outrageous on top of everything else, if you were just, well, you went in, hey, we're in, hope those cases get settled, and that's, but some of those others, of course, attacking a police, smashing the police officer's head in the door repeatedly, beating him with a pipe or that type. I mean, those people, that should be like 10 years in prison, you know. Uh, this Chicago police officer, he'd only been a police officer for about a year and a half. And the Chicago Police Department, I think I read this, I believe, and his police powers were taken away immediately. And but it didn't say he was fired, so I have a feeling that he's no longer a law enforcement officer, but he probably maybe is still working at maybe not armed. He's at the police headquarters filing papers or something. I think he should be fired. But then, of course, they have to go through whatever their procedures are, hearings and that type, whatever that type of stuff is. Or else somebody that's just somehow innocently got caught up in something, all of a sudden it's going to be, I read this story, grocery store, a gunman goes into a grocery store, walks up to a grandmother who has a 1-year-old in her, I think the cart. I don't think she was holding it. I think he was in the cart. And he shoots the 1-year-old. And then he immediately kills the grandmother. And then he kills himself. And there's, it doesn't look like he hated it, like this, Here's another shooting, one killed, at least 8 others wounded in a shooting in Savannah. And here's a story, an attorney general vows to fight the GOP efforts to curb voting access. It's really horrendous, it's terrible, unbelievable, un-American that you would have the Republican Party trying to keep people from voting. Yeah, make sure everybody's a legal voter, which they are, the only ones I've heard of, and that's, like a handful of people have all been people trying to vote for Trump twice or something. One was here in Texas. A lady went and voted at the polling place and then went over to another polling place and tried to vote, and that's where she got arrested. And then the other one was a guy who, did he kill his wife? Yeah. He killed his wife, I believe. Or did she die of natural causes? No, I think he killed her. Yeah, he killed his wife. And then he used an absentee ballot for her and voted for Trump. Now, those are the only, it's just not, there is no rampant illegal voting or whatever. That just isn't happening. Americans don't, I've thought in the past, maybe, well, one thing, which I think we probably should do, we should have a day off for everybody on voting day. Of course, we have, I think it should be the every 4 years, the presidential, and not, because we have a lot of other elections, and, but yeah, I think You should have a day that would be the, voting day, and people wouldn't have to be at work, so you can go and, vote. In the past, I thought maybe what they should do is just pay people. If you vote, you get $5 or something, something like that. But now I think, no, that'd be a bad idea, because we don't have a problem with people. It's insignificant. It's just a fallacy. It's just fake news that there is. Security officer ambushed and killed by bank robbers in Indiana. Yeah, if you're a security officer someplace that's, of high value, like when I was in Miami, they were having, down there in Miami, armored cars, Brinks and whatever the others are. They were being robbed, and the people robbing them were shooting the security guards who were, and so usually for a security vehicle, you'd have a driver and then one person, another person, so the driver would stay, with the truck, and the other person would go in, but they increased it, and then I saw that they had, I'd see like the Brinks security truck going by, and it'd be at least two people, and then I think there was somebody in the back at that point, somebody in the back. Let me see. Wait a minute. What am I? Yeah. Okay. There was somebody in the back, maybe more than one, and then you would see a security vehicle with a couple guys following the thing. And then I went down to the beach, let's see, Bayside, which is right there by the ocean. That's a shopping mall. And if you want to see that, you can go to YouTube, and in 4K if you want to see it. On YouTube, do a search for Miami Bayside Mall or whatever. Or just do 4K, and I think it will be on the top of the list. And I was down there many times, a bunch. Anyway, I went down because a friend and his brother were from Kansas City that had worked with they both worked the same hospital, but one of them was a security officer. I worked with him for years. Both of the guys were really nice, identical twins. They came down, and we visited right there, stayed right there talking. And I had never been downtown that late, and they offered to drive me home. I said no, that's okay. I'll just catch the train. And they insisted, but I said no, I'll be okay. So I went to the train. Well, I didn't know the train stopped. The intercity rapid transit trains. I didn't know they stopped running at 11 or something, or 10 or whatever it was. So I had to wait quite a while, because then they just had one. Well, maybe they had more than one bus, I don't know, but it was a bus that just went to each one of these places where the train would, come and load and unload and stuff. And so it was a long wait for that. And then I rode that bus, and that bus took me to next to the end of the line, because that was the place for me to get off. And I forget how many miles. There's a video of it. No. Yeah, there is. I don't remember. Anyway, I got there, and the bus then wasn't running until like 6 in the morning or something like that. But, so this was next to the last, where the transit system ran. And I walked around to the side. There was quite a few people there. I don't know, 15 people, something like that. All of them were waiting for the bus in the morning, I guess. But I walked around the side and there was a unmarked van, because what I guess for some reason that's the place where they dropped off all the money that was collected for fees, was dropped off at not the last place, but for some reason the next to the last place on the line, and I guess it had to be picked up. And I'm not sure what their regular schedule was, but because of this, and so I walked around, and there was like 10 security people, one with a shotgun, one with an assault rifle, and all types of stuff. And they looked like they were panicky, or I mean, they looked like, and I wanted to take my cell phone out and make a video of that, because that, I thought that was something. I thought, man, I got to make a video of this. But I was afraid to take my cell phone out. I'm afraid one of those guys might shoot me, because they were, especially like one guy, and he had, can't remember if he was the guy that had the shotgun or if he had the assault rifle, but he was just moving around, looking all around, all that kind of stuff. And I thought, I know. Anyway, and not because of that, but I walked on home, and when I got about a couple blocks from getting home, then that's when the bus showed up. If I had just waited, I wouldn't have had to walk all that distance, and I could have ridden the bus right to my door. Man, I could not do that nowadays. I haven't seen this before. A federal board unanimously approves to rename 16, why a federal board? 16 Texas geographical sites that include the word Negro. Okay, I saw something like this, and I mentioned it in a video, that someplace here in Texas, there was a county or something or other, and I'm not sure if it was Negro or if it was the N-word. Can't remember now. A small area, and that's what it had been called forever, you know. And well, I guess it would have to be a federal group or whatever, because it's a map. Well, I guess the state could name an area what. 16 Texas geographical. Hang on here a second. Let me go. Let me go back and do this. 16 Texas geographical locations with a name like Negro Creek will no longer include the term Negro, following a decision by a federal board. The U.S. Board on Geographical Names unanimously approved a proposal on Thursday in its monthly meeting to rename the 16 geographical features in Texas that include the word Negro. The board, which authorizes the official name changes, made the decision in response to a request from the Texas legislature. That surprises me, and that's good, said the U.S. Board of Geographical Names. We believe this shows the beginning of the significance of the BGN and the importance of being responsive to, well, let's see if we have the names listed here. No, I guess they were afraid to list the names. Wait a minute, let's see. The list of geographical locations that will receive a name change include the lake named Negro Head Lake, which will now become Lake Henry Doyle. what was the big, well, I think, and who was the president? Well, we know it wasn't Trump. Um, I think it might have been Obama. Up in Alaska, a big mountain, a very prominent one, used to be called by the indigenous people. I'm not sure if that would be Eskimos or what are the other thing, or Indians. I can't remember now what the whole thing was, but it was that used to be its name, you know. And Alaska or some group, I guess that'd be named it something, took away the name that it had always been known by, and named it something, something else. And white people, the small number of people who live in Alaska, they liked the name. And whichever, I guess I've been this board here probably, whichever board it was, because they'd been requested by, I think, the indigenous people, and anyway, they renamed it back to what its name that it was always known by. And there was a whole bunch of people upset, how dare you name it back to what it was for, ever, so I guess that blew over. I can't remember the details, but I remember thinking, well, of course it didn't matter, I'm not going to Alaska, but the name was kind of hard to pronounce, or hard to, if you saw it written, if I remember correctly, it was kind of, and I thought, well, I'd kind of like to have it, be a name that I could say it. I'd been to, if I had been, if I was a traveler, I'd want to, if I was showing people, I took, here's my vacation, and then I could say, here's the Alaska Star Mountain, rather than having to say Bumalaki Bagungo something, so anyway, but no, that's, they did the right thing, and doing the right thing here in Texas, I think. I didn't know there was 16, because I remember blogging about the one name that came up for some reason. I think maybe some people in that area were objecting to it. I didn't know there was 16. Getting ready to wind this up here pretty quick. I'm wondering, should I add, I don't know, maybe I'll add that cat video onto the end also, because maybe you could see it better. I don't know. Not sure what I'll do. Two dead after SUV hits Greyhound bus. Eight-year-old boy sells Pokemon cards to help sick dog. This dad, his wife and him were divorced, and he'd been paying child support. But his last one was 80,000 pennies. What would that be? Alexa, how much is 80,000 pennies?
80,000 United States pennies is 800 US dollars.
$800. So he paid it.
$800 is 656 euros and 1 cent.
So he did it in pennies and had a dump truck pull up there and dump it or something out on their lawn. And the mother took the $800, the pennies, I guess, cashed them in or whatever, and donated that to a shelter group or something for battered women. So. Seven high school graduates finally received their diploma 52 years later. Oh, okay, here's something. I think I will stick around for a minute or two. Here's the thing that says, I ditched my PC for the new iMac. Here are the pros and cons. Because I would, like to, I guess they're going to tell us the amount. I'm constantly testing all kinds of laptops, desktops, but none of them have been able to replace my custom Windows gaming PC as my main machine for work and play. Between my computer's power specifics, oh wait a minute, you're not, there again, I gotta go back. I need to figure out some way to have that work automatically. Where was it? Between my computer's powerful specs, my versatile dual monitor setup, and my comfort level with Windows 10, it's been hard to make the switch to anything else until the 24-inch iMac landed on my desk. I have been using Apple's new desktop almost exclusively ever since I got it in for review, and barring a few exceptions. I'm not in a huge rush to go back to my PC. Between its superb display, excellent webcam, and everyday benefits of Mac OS, I've been missing out on as an iPhone user. The latest iMac, starting at $1,200, comes dangerously close to being the only desktop I need. So what's it like to make the switch to iMac as a longtime PC user, and why I can't completely abandon Windows yet? Let's see. It has the M1 chip, which is kick-ass, Thanks to the sharp 1080p lens and some M1 enabled software tricks, the iMac's camera makes me look brighter and livelier than even my trusty Logitech C920. Okay, that's C920 on it's over there. I'm going to put the link to this below because some of you other people might be interested in. I don't think I can come up with the money to make the switch or whatever, but I would like to be using the M1 chip and doing some of the stuff you can do now with, but anyway, thank you very much for watching.